posting to Truth Social just moments ago, quote, I am pleased to report that the U.S. and Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East.
Whoa. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey, does that catch you by surprise?
Absolutely. This is a major development. President Trump taking to Truth Social, not only to say there are very good and productive conversations taking place between the United States and Iran, but he goes on to say he's ordered the Department of War to postpone for at least 5 days strikes against Iran's energy and power infrastructure. This comes after the president issued that ultimatum over the weekend about opening the Strait of Hormuz. We don't have any additional information at this point into the president's thinking about this, but this is a president who has applied immense pressure on the Iranian regime through thousands of airstrikes over the past 3 weeks. And this, again, is a president who in the past has indicated he prefers a diplomatic option when one is available. The images you see here are Iranian ballistic missiles soaring through the skies of Israel over the weekend. There were dozens of attacks that took place, the Israelis striking back against Iran's storage facilities for these missiles, going after many of not only the production lines, but where they keep these missiles and launchers. We understand they've been quite successful in those strikes, although the Iranians are still able to get off much of the incoming missile fire here to Israel. In the city of Arad over the weekend, we visited there yesterday, more than 100 people were wounded in a single Iranian ballistic missile attack. But while the focus was there in the south of Israel, regional focus also on the Strait of Hormuz, where President Trump referenced over the weekend the possibility of conducting additional strikes that appear now to be off the table at least for 5 days. I asked Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about that post.
President Trump said that if in 48 hours the Iranians don't open the Strait of Hormuz, that there will be strikes against the power grids in Iran. Will you participate in those strikes, and what do you think should happen next in this campaign?
I think President Trump knows exactly what he's doing, and whatever we do together, and as far as possible in confidence.
So again, the president just breaking some news this morning saying that there will be a 5-day delay to any strikes on Iran's power and energy infrastructure. The Israelis not just looking to the east, but also north to the Iran-backed Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. You can see some of the exchanges of fire there in southern Israel. As a top spokesperson for the Israeli military said this about the length of the campaign.
The citizens of Israel, more weeks of fighting against Iran and Hezbollah are expected for us. With each passing day, we are weakening the terror regime more and more. We will not allow the terror regime and its proxies to constitute a threat against Israeli citizens and against the existence of the State of Israel.
Again, though, the headline today, President Trump saying in a post on Truth Social just minutes ago that the United States and Iran have had very good and productive conversations over the past 2 days. And again, President Trump is ordering the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, to delay any strikes against Iran's power or energy infrastructure for at least 5 days.
I'm getting out of here before any more missiles fall on my head.
It's a little dark. It's fine. I like it. Okay. I'll allow it. Good morning. Welcome back. Happy Monday morning. And I hope that you had a glorious weekend. I spent the weekend with my father. Call your dads. If you still got a dad, call him. You know, go hang out with him. That's all I did with my dad. My dad is a big fan of collegiate wrestling. So we went to the NCAA championships, collegiate wrestling, and hung out in Cleveland. Is that the place that you want to hang out for the weekend? Probably not. I don't know. No hate. We had a fun time. But that's what I did. Like, just make sure that you lock off a little bit of time for the man that tried his hardest, right? It was his first time being a dad too, right? So he's just trying hard. Make sure that you're locking in. And make sure that you are locked in today for some glorious and good news. Monday, March 23rd, 2026. Trump halts all bombing of Iran and their critical infrastructure. Well, there's no more infrastructure, right? It's all critical. So I guess that's good. This is effectively a ceasefire in the war that President Trump has announced this morning. Iran saying, that was Iran's response. They are freaking out, saying, no, it's not happening. But actually, it is happening. We have some great sources that tell us exactly how it's happening. Iran's just trying to level up, right? And to be the big, but you can't be the big when you got no Air Force, no air defenses, no Army, no Navy, when you got no bullets, when you got no drones, you got no ballistic, you got no missiles, you got nothing left. What are you going to do? You're in no position to negotiate here. You don't have the cards, as they would say. So we'll see what happens, but I really like the direction that this is going. Obviously, you need to refocus on domestic policy. I drove in this morning looking at the gas signs. Yo, ooh, very close to $4 a gallon where I live. What about where you live? How expensive is it where you live? Obviously, we had gas below $2 a gallon. Remember that? The $2 a gallon gas season. It was the fall, and gas was plummeting. Well, let's see if President Trump can lock it in. Gas is actually cratering right now. It's at like $84 a barrel. That's good. It was like in the $60 a barrel range. That's when you get your $2 gas. That's golden, ladies and gentlemen, for the golden era. ICE deployed to airports, and we are going to be deploying to airports later today. Representative Andy Ogles and Steve Hilton, next governor of California, will be joining the show. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Mizzen in Maine. Ooh, stay fit, stay sharp, stay looking good. Mizzen in Maine is how I travel on the road. I travel this week. We're going to be traveling this week. Steep hack. We're going to do some work. Maybe we're going to go to Cuba. I don't know. I asked my wife, can I just go to Cuba? Like, you can just go to Cuba for the day. I'm so sick of these left-wing influencers. Like, anyway, the point is that we do end up traveling a lot on this program. And, well, Mizzen in Maine is the clothes that we travel in. This is a fact. And this is, by the way, before they were partners of the show. Why? Well, because, like, one, they don't wrinkle, super lightweight, you still look good. You're not dressing like a slob. You're not wandering around in your pajamas in the airport. Oh man, their shirts, their pants. You want a sharp look. You want something that's clean and fast and that never wrinkles. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you are grabbing up some of their stretchy, lightweight, moisture wicking, wrinkle resistant, completely machine washable, no ironing or dry cleaning shirts and pants. Their fabric is so effortless, so light, and makes you look sharp. Again, I've been wearing them for a while. Right now, Mizzen in Maine is offering their listeners 20% off first purchase at mizzeninmaine.com. Promo code Benny20. That's Mizzen, spelled M-I-Z-Z-E-N, Maine, M-A-I-N.com. Promo code Benny20. Or you can check out Mizzen in Maine store. There's one in Tampa. Pretty cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of in Tampa, there's Chick-fil-A in Tampa. I'm going to go pick up just a boatload of Chick-fil-A and take it to the TSA today. That's what we're going to do. And we didn't mean it to rhyme like that. Client sitting here like shaking his head like, I guess like this guy has got the dad jokes. But we're doing it. We're doing it. Okay? TSA, there's a giant Chick-fil-A at the airport. And we're just like, I got pissed off this weekend. Elon Musk offered to pay the salaries of all the Chick-fil-A all the TSA employees this week. I mean, Elon Musk could do both. But Elon Musk said, hey, well, how about I just pay the salary for these out of work guys? You shouldn't be allowed to defund our critical infrastructure in this country for political purposes. That's Republicans too. It's totally evil. It's backfiring on the Democrats. The TSA lines are obscene and obnoxious. And I spoke with TSA agents this weekend while I was traveling. Again, we just did like a really quick trip with my dear old dad, right? My dear old dad's getting up there. Enjoy your time with your parents, right? And I informed them that Elon Musk was going to pay for their salaries, and this is a response.
Guys, we're going through TSA right now, and I just told my man that Elon is covering the salaries.
Sir. Appreciate you.
For the TSA workers who've been defunded.
My man.
Yeah, and
thank you, brother.
They say thank you. There was a bunch of cheers, like everyone cheered. I informed everyone behind us.
Take care.
Yeah. The man, a true patriot. I'm telling you, I just yelled it as we were going through. They had my camera, so I couldn't film it. But I yelled it as they were going through that Elon is covering the salaries of all of the TSA workers. And everyone cheered.
Yo, this is like what patriots do. These are law enforcement agents. TSA, you ever like gone through TSA and like talked to any of these guys? You know who these guys are? Like these guys are a bunch of veterans. They're a bunch of retired cops. They're a bunch of people who serve their country. To a man, a lot of these TSA agents, I mean, they come up, they talk to me all the time when I'm going through the airport. These are great people. And I'm a supporter of law enforcement. Probably one of the most evil, vicious lies ever told by the corporate press was that somehow like the right doesn't support federal law enforcement. In fact, we're the only ones who support federal law enforcement. We're the only ones who support law enforcement at all. The entire system collapses under the left. The left is, of course, allowing for the attacking and the harassment of ICE agents and TSA agents and all federal law enforcement as long as it serves their political power. And so we're going to support them today. It ain't going to be, it ain't much. It's just a fried chicken sandwich and some salty waffle fries. Hot out to grease, but it's going to be a free lunch for them. So that's what we're going to do. And they can just roll through and pick it up. And so, I don't have enough money to pay for all their salaries. We'll let the richest man in the world do that. We're focused on covering the salaries that we have here at the show, and then also some lunches for defunded law enforcement. This is blowing back on Democrats. Donald Trump dropped a bunch of ICE agents, sprinkled a bunch of ICE agents into the TSA checkpoints. Now, turns out they'll be doing full ID checks and then also arresting and potentially deporting people at the TSA checkpoints. You can see here. Thank you, Klein. Perfect. Look at that. You can see the ICE agents that have been forward deployed at the Atlanta airport. What is TSA like around you? Have you flown? Have you seen major delays? We certainly saw some delays. Look at that. This is out the door, through the terminal, down the street, into the parking garage, and then out the back of the parking garage. This is Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson Airport at 5:02 a.m. You know what they said? They said arrive 4 hours early to the Atlanta airport. Now, maybe your airport's a little different. They said arrive 4 hours early. I didn't have to wait in line for hours. We waited in line, approximately 10, 20 minutes for TSA where I was, traveling this weekend. But Atlanta's got this massive airport. They got tons of people. They got so many people that fly through Atlanta. It's like one of the biggest hubs in the world. And so their TSA is like stretched to the absolute breaking point and limit. And so it's totally evil. Again, it should be illegal to defund critical infrastructure. They've also defunded the Coast Guard while we're technically at war, a war that I hope ends. Why do I hope the Iran war ends? Okay, let's pivot over to here. Why do I hope the Iran war ends? And by the way, goodness gracious, look at this. I've got a super chat. Buy a few sandwiches on me. Well, thank you, Grimly Anoku. God bless you, man. Thank you. We will. We'll be posting up the whole time, about it. I actually got a delivery right now. Klein, we might get it in the middle of the live show, so I got a bunch of patriotic balloons coming to the office. We're going to put up a bunch of balloons, and be like, hey, yo, come get your Chick-fil-A. So thank you very much, Grimly. Grimly Anaku. Thank you. It's very kind of you. This is what we're going to do, man. We're going to use what God has given us to help in the way that God has called us to. Today, it's give away Chick-fil-A. Why do I want the war to end? I want the war to end. Of course you want the war to end. Of course you want the war to end. Again, we've litigated, for the last couple of weeks that I wasn't elected president, okay? And I don't like forever war. Looks like this ain't going to be a forever war. We'll get into what Trump said just a second ago, but there's no way Trump's going to let this be in a forever war. Just listen to the words he's saying. Trump's wrapping this sucker up. Sounded like they had a generation, based on all my phone calls with everybody at DOD and everybody inside of the admin and State Department and all that. And we know so many people. And we're blessed to have it. Every single week, you have members of the administration on this show all the time. Based on my phone calls, they had a generational opportunity to straight up murder these people, and they took it. And that just is what it is. It was gangster. It was a gangster operation. It was like a stealth operation, kind of like with Maduro. You have this opportunity, and they just went, gonna take it. And Trump does it. He bases these decisions on his gut. And why do I want it to wrap up? Because these have perilous, determining downstream effects on what actually matters to people when they vote in elections. The reason why Trump is in office in a landslide is vastly due to the inflation numbers, the out-of-control spending numbers, the out-of-control war spending numbers. Everybody saw billions of dollars going to Ukraine, hundreds of billions of dollars going to Ukraine, and everyone said, enough of that. It's America last. So we don't want that. We want that to be our thing. We want our thing to be low gas prices, low interest rates, people getting homes, people getting mortgages. We want people to buy cars. We want people to be able to go on a vacation every once in a while. We want people to be able to afford Chick-fil-A. I'm going to go bankrupt. Chick-fil-A is expensive these days. So that's what those are the policies that win us in 26 and 28. I think it can be done. They're just going to have to reverse it and reverse it quick. Now, it's a beautiful thing. What happened instantly as soon as Trump announced, yo, we ain't going to war anymore. Here we go. If we could pop up my screen. Thank you. Here we go. Trump halts all strikes on Iranian energy sites. Very good conversations. Tehran denies talks with Washington. Now, there's a big fact check here. So the markets have gone all haywire. Gone insane. You can see here. Look at what oil did. Look at that. That's awesome. I mean, by the way, it's amazing. So oil is cratered, actually. It's gone back. I don't know. Can we get the live ticker for the for oil crude price? So I think crude, it's gone back $84 a barrel. That's great. It should collapse down to the 60s or 50s when you start getting a sucker flowing. Apparently the Straits of Hormuz have opened up. Iran is is talking bluster right now. They're just talking smack. So here's what Trump said versus what Iran said. Here we go. I'm pleased to report the United States of America and the country of Iran have had over the last couple of days very good productive conversations regarding the complete resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. Based on the tenor and tone of these detailed, constructive conversations, which will continue, I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure. Well, this is a good thing for Iran. Iran has no air defenses. They have no navy. They have nothing. They can put some mines in the Strait of Hormuz. They can do some suicide. They can do some suicide squad stuff. But it's bad. It's really, really bad. Yeah, look at that. There's crude. Okay, you can just send me that link. And it's really bad, honestly. If you're Iran, you're just a sitting duck. You got nothing left. America, Israel, and the Allied forces can just bomb you into submission. They can take everything from you. They can just put you right back in the Stone Age. Is it going to do regime change? Well, what is the regime exactly? Some guy in a coma? Some gay mullah in a coma? Who doesn't even know where he is? Sitting there he doesn't have any legs or arms? I think that's what they're left with. So nobody's even seen the new guy. Peace through strength, to put it mildly, says Donald Trump. Donald Trump on Friday saying we're getting very, very close to meeting our objectives and winding down our great military efforts in the Middle East. This shows kind of where the president's head is. But let me just tell you, and I checked, this was written by President Trump himself. Okay, this one came from Donald himself. He wrote that sucker. It's a good thing because you're gonna have to, you can see the effects, obviously, of what's gonna happen with gas prices. You don't have to just pop that up. You can see the effect of what's gonna happen with gas prices. Boom. Come on, bring it back down. Nobody likes high gas prices, right? Well, plenty of people are willing to pay, and people have their different takes on the war. I don't think it's worth setting myself on fire for, as I said, and as I've said a million times over, I wasn't elected president, and nobody asked me, hey, should we go to Iran? Should we bomb Iran? Nobody asked me, okay? So you can disagree with it. I don't like the downstream policies of it. I want to win. So, but I'm not going to burn my MAGA hat. I'm a 3-time Trump voter. And I'm not going to betray the base. And the base is with Trump. And we'll see if he can just wrap this sucker up. Okay, back to me. Thank you. The White House now signaling for a ceasefire, effectively. President Trump calls for a pause on all military strikes, right? So the White House is hyping it. The Department of State is hyping it. They're all hyping it. And Iran is going, Iran says, There's been no direct contact with President Trump. President Trump is trying to buy time. Buy time? For what, dude? You're like a sitting duck. You're a sitting duck. You ever seen the UFC fight where the guy gets knocked out and he's just kind of laying there with his eyes all glazed over? That's Iran right now. You don't got it. You can't stand. You don't got anything left. You have nothing left. The president withdrew from power plant strike after Iran's firm warning. Yes, okay, you're very scary. Yes, you really scared us. This I love. This, I think, is hilarious. So the leaders of Iran are whining that Trump is engaging in psychological warfare. Oh, that's great. They're crying. Hormuz will not return to pre-war conditions as long as psychological warfare continues. Megan Rapinoe and Ellen DeGeneres and Rosie O'Donnell are now the leaders of Iran. These are the leaders of Iran are now mewling about Trump engaging in psychological warfare. Well, it turns out that they're lying. That's kind of a shock. It turns out they're lying. Okay, so we went and hunted this down, and so here's what's actually going on. Iran screamed and said, "No, we're not talking with America." Liars. They are. They are. What's happening is that Iran is like desperate to end this thing, to not like go directly back into the Stone Age, and to try and look strong while doing it. This is going to be a really hard task to look strong after the beating that they took, but there's a beating that Trump's going to take politically and domestically if you have $5-6 gasoline prices and the midterms. That's just a matter of fact. And if inflation shoots up, and if the government keeps spending, and if you don't have the mortgage rates go down from like they're so stubbornly stuck at 6%, you got to wrap this thing up. So you had your fun, like you got to close it down. Well, it turns out that's what's going on. U.S. source said that Turkey, Egypt, and Pakistan, they've all been working on peace with U.S. in Iran over the last couple of days. Foreign ministers of 3 countries held separate talks with the White House, Steve Witkoff, and Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas al-Garachi, U.S. source said. So Steve Witkoff's directly talking with the Iranians. The mediation is ongoing and making progress. The discussions are about ending the war and resolving all outstanding issues, and we hope to have an answer soon, the source said, familiar. So they're going to do some big announcement. Trump's probably going to open a Trump Tower Tehran. You know what's going to happen. TTT. They're going to do the Trump Tower Tehran. But like by the end of it, you know that's what's going on. Egyptian foreign minister said on Sunday on a call with Witkoff that the Iranians and his counterparts from Pakistan stressed the importance of containing the broader effects of the conflict and preventing it from expanding. So you just don't want like all-out war in the Mideast. Smart, bro. Smart. Go for it. And now things are responding. Things are responding appropriately. I mean, obviously the stock market spiked. Stock market went ballistic. Oil crashed, and Iran wheezing intensifies. Iran's foreign minister says there have been no talks with Washington. Those are lies. So either Iran is lying or Trump is lying, and it turns out that Iran is actually lying. They are talking, and they are desperate. It's great. You can win this. You can win this. You got to get back to domestic policies. You got to get back to like being the president of, hey, yo, we killed a terrorist. Nobody likes Iran. This ain't simping for Iran. Nobody making some argument that the Ayatollah needs to remain in power or is a good person. It's the thing I can't figure out with Joe Kent. The thing I can't get is, and I'm just checking in on Ogles here. What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Klein? No? Everyone's having Wi-Fi issues. Okay, great. I got plenty to talk about. Okay. We don't want to be late for our Chick-fil-A date with TSA, so what? Thank you. Okay. Why is this a good thing? And how can you spin it into a massive election victory? The way you end up totally on top and on the other side of this issue is when you start negotiating trade with China. Ultimately, China and Russia are the other poles of power on this earth. It is a multipolar power structure that we live in, and it's not fun to play by their rules. We've had to play by their rules in Ukraine. We've had to play by their rules in the Pacific. America doesn't like that. And if you can leverage the destruction of their power vectors around the world, choke out their energy supplies prove that you have the willpower to engage positively and aggressively with China and Russia, you can end the Ukraine war. You can dictate terms for the next millennia to China. You can control economic flow throughout the world using the dollar and not some other alternative currency, which of course was founded effectively by Iran. You just like, this is a battle for the dollar and dollar supremacy, if anything, that's what this is. And then you can position yourself for tripling tripling the economy here in America. The only thing that really like freaking matters in 2028. And so cut it all down and give it to people plainly and explain the triangulation of what's happening. It's the same thing that's happening with Cuba, Venezuela, South America. Everybody's well aware of what the strategy is. And it's also a critical strategy for the future of the country. If you're thinking long-term and not short-term, it's very, very good to have control over Iran, to have control over the Straits, and have control over the region, and to be rid of a bad actor in the region, the only destabilizing actor in the region, quite frankly. So you can spin this into a win. You got to be able to deliver. It's something that like we were promised in 26. That would be this like extreme focus on domestic policies, and we almost had it. You know, you almost had it. You're going to get Jerome Powell out. You're going to get Trump accounts, right? The administration was going hard in the paint for domestic policy victories. These are the things that win you elections. These are the things you have to get back to. The eve of like the first bombings of Iran, I went on Fox News and I warned about this. And it's good fair warning. Here's President Trump seconds ago saying, yo, we're gonna stop it all. This was Trump on the tarmac again, just moments ago. Here we go.
Mr. President, Iran's foreign ministry says you're not telling the truth when it comes to productive conversations to end the war.
Well, they're going to have to get themselves better public relations people. We have had very, very strong talks. We'll see where they lead. We have major points of agreement. I would say almost all points of agreement. Perhaps that hasn't been conveyed. The communication, as you know, has been blown to pieces. They're unable to talk to each other. But we've had very strong talks. Mr. Witkoff and Mr. Kushner had them. They went, I would say, perfectly. I would say that if they carry through with that, it'll end that problem, that conflict. And I think it'll end it very, very substantially. We have very much in mind our partners in the Middle East. We've had great relationships with a lot of them, as you know. A lot of them were surprisingly hit, and I was surprised to see it, and so was everyone else. But we have, they're very much in mind in the discussions. So the discussions took place yesterday. They went into yesterday evening. They want very much to make a deal. We'd like to make a deal, too. We're going to get together today. By probably phone, because it's very hard to find a country. It's very hard for them to get out, I guess. But we'll at some point very, very soon meet. We're doing a 5-day period. We'll see how that goes. And if it goes well, we're going to end up with settling this. Otherwise, we'll just keep bombing our little hearts out.
Who is Steve Witkoff speaking with, Mr. President?
A top person. Don't forget, we've wiped out the leadership phase 1, phase 2, and largely phase 3, but we're dealing with the man who I believe is the most respected and the leader. It's a little tough. We've wiped out everybody.
Is that the Supreme Leader?
No, not the Supreme Leader. We don't. Well, nobody heard of the second Supreme Leader, the son.
Are these direct?
Nobody. We have not heard from the son. Every once in a while, you'll see a statement made, but we haven't. We don't know if he's living. But the people that seem to be running it, and they seem that based on really fact, because things they've said have taken place.
Mr. President,
again,
Mr. President, I know you've deployed.
Because I don't want him to be killed. Okay, I don't want him to be killed.
Mr. President, you've deployed.
Nobody wants to be that. Nobody wants that job right now. You know, nobody's exactly looking forward to being the head of that particular country. But perhaps we'll be able to solve that problem.
Mr. President, you've deployed ICE agents to American airports today. Newsmax, sir. You've deployed ICE agents.
You're not doing a very good job.
You've deployed ICE agents.
You're not doing a good job. Did you hear me? Okay, go ahead.
What exactly do you want from these talks?
I'm taking CNN over Newsmax.
What exactly are you looking for in these talks, Mr. President?
We're looking for all of the things that we've been talking about. We want to see no nuclear bomb, no nuclear weapon, not even close to it, low key on the missiles. We want to see peace in the Middle East. We want the nuclear dust. We're going to want that. And I think we're going to get that. Uranium? We've agreed to that. Yeah, we've agreed to that.
You want the enriched uranium before you can end this.
And we want no enrichment, but we also want the enriched uranium. If this happens, it's a great start for Iran to build itself back, and it's everything that we want. And it's also great for Israel, and it's great for the other Middle Eastern countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all of them. Kuwait and Bahrain in particular, so it's great for all of them.
All right. You can hear it. You can hear the tone. Trump saying, hey, let's just wind it up. Let's wind it down. Okay? Let's wind it down. My screen real fast. One more time, Klein. Yeah, there we go. Stocks are surging. Oil prices have plummeted 10%. And now you can see that, well, you know, this is what you want to see. If you can have your cake and you can eat it too, then this is what you want to do. And as we've said many times over, I wasn't elected president. So when we ain't going to set ourselves on fire over this, I just want to win. I just want to win. Democrats telling us exactly what they're going to do. If they win, it is a civilizational question at this point. Civilizational. Do we wish to continue as a people? Or do we wish to destroy ourselves? And Democrats, of course, will do the destroying if we let them back in. Right now, they're destroying. I mean, look what they're doing. Look what Democrats are doing right now. SAVE Act, TSA. They're projecting exactly what's next. Don't destroy yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Live strong, live free, live healthy. Masa chips help the Johnson family every single night. Get a nice, tasty crunch. Boy, I should have brought some Masa chips. They're all gone. The ones that I have are all gone. My kids eat them too fast. Brought some Masa chips to TSA today. Masa chips, man. They're good for you. You feel great. Everybody likes a good crispy snack. They are so crunchy and crispy and delicious. But they're made of only 3 ingredients. You know, they used to be able to make food like this. They can still make food like this. They just want to poison you. They want you sick and dead. They want to be able to shove their petroleum byproducts and feed you gasoline. Don't let them do it. Get Masa chips. Just 3 ingredients: corn and salt and beef tallow. They're good for you again. And, well, they're the only chip that is kid approved in the Johnson household. Give Masa a try. Go to masachips.com/Benny. Use code Benny for 25% off your first order. Simply click the link in the video description or scan the QR code. Claim this delicious offer. Don't feel like ordering online? Masa is now available nationwide at your Sprouts supermarket. So grab them before they're gone. Ladies and gentlemen, I am really excited to announce that Steve Hilton is joining the program. Steve Hilton. Yeah, okay. Unfortunately, Andy Ogles, we had a bit of a connection issue with our team, and the representative Andy Ogles will not be able to join the show today. We apologize for that. We had some technical difficulties. So it goes. But Steve Hilton is locked and loaded. He has rocketed to the very top of the polls. Check this out. Steve Hilton at 17%. Yo! It's our boy. Let's go to Steve Hilton live right now before a very exciting California gubernatorial debate that's going to be happening soon. I think in 2 weeks. We might actually be there. So let's check in with the great Steve Hilton live in California. Steve, congratulations. Hey. Great, man. I can't believe these polls.
I know. Neither can the left-wing media in California. It's like, what's going on? You got a Republican, often two Republicans in the top two. You know, there's a new one out since that one you just showed that has me on 20%. How about that?
Goodness gracious. We'll have our producers grab that right away. I'm sorry, it's Steve. I would never knock you down a couple percent. I would never do it, Steve.
I don't think, to be fair, I don't think it's actually been published. We just heard about it. So they won't be finding that. But I think in the next day or so, that'll be out there. We were just told about it this morning. So good news.
So on the heels of Nick Shirley's investigation, our investigation in the homeless fraud, thank you for joining and helping us with this and uncovering the fraud. You are back at it again, announcing more discoveries of more looting of the state treasury. Could you, and the taxpayers, could you please enumerate what you found, Steve, recently?
So Benny, as you know, we launched now it's nearly 2 months ago, CalDOGE, the California Department of Government Efficiency, part of my campaign. Obviously, we're doing it on a volunteer basis at this point. We're not in the government, so we don't have the access to the complete books. But just already we found billions of dollars just by going through publicly available information. This is, you got Gavin Newsom and the Attorney General and the idiots in charge of California. They could have been doing this for years, but of course they don't because they are in on it. And this is the latest example. Homelessness, Project Home Key, it's called, $3.8 billion starting in the pandemic that they took to buy up properties and hand it over to homeless people. What actually happened was that they took these knockdown properties at knockdown prices, inflated the value. It was pocketed by affordable housing developers, part of the homeless industrial complex, cronies and donors to Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass. And now the taxpayers on the hook for it, but these developers get the cash. The properties, meanwhile, are almost all nearly empty, not even being used for that. We stood in front of one of them on, in Inglewood, not far from LAX, the other day to announce this latest of our fraud reports. I mean, the scale of this is staggering.
You and I went and toured one. It was wild. Exactly. It's been like a decade, millions and millions of dollars funneled into this shell of a Ramada. It's it's now famous, and we just wandered in. And there's like one guy dinking around with a hammer, and it's just a money pit.
It's a money pit. That's what it is.
Yeah. And as everyone's getting rich, and the only people getting fleeced are the taxpayers.
But what's really, really exciting is that because of the attention that your investigation, Nick Shirley's investigation, just this weekend, I was with James O'Keefe. He's doing amazing work in California, exposing the voting side of this, paying homeless people for signatures to register them to vote, to get. So what's being exposed is the business model of this corrupt Democrat regime. For 16 years, they've been in power, one-party rule. They've never had any accountability, nothing. And this year, it's all changed. And what's happening is why I'm so excited about our prospects to actually win in November here in California, because the whole regime is crumbling. Because you and Nick and us with CalDOGE, we are exposing the corruption and exposing there's nothing there and answering that question, which Californians have. How is it that we pay the highest taxes in the country for literally the worst results? Well, because the money's going into the Democrat machine and into the corrupt cronies of the Democrat politicians.
So James was on for the full hour, and so was Nick on our last show last week. And they were just rolling through their investigations and showing us what they found. And the governor's office seems to now be in wholesale panic. I've never seen anything like it. So Gavin Newsom, he attacked me constantly. It was really fun. We just ratioed him every single day. But whatever. Like they viewed it as like an opportunity, a vector for attack. They did that with Nick Shirley as well, but less so. You could tell they were starting to get degraded. And now with James O'Keefe's on-camera illegal activity, that he is capturing the physical money changing hands in the street to the homeless. Now they're in panic. I mean, these statements are insane, Steve. Gavin Newsom, oh, we so sorry. Well, now it's oh, wow. Just because now that it's on camera, they're freaking out. So what is being exposed here, Steve?
So there's two components. So one is ballot initiatives. So there's in California, a lot of the stuff that the Democrats want to make happen is put on there by ballot initiatives where they pay for signatures. Now you contrast that with the Republican initiative. So just now, a few weeks ago, we confirmed that voter ID, whatever the idiots do with the SAVE Act in Washington or don't do, here in California, we've got voter ID on the ballot in November. We will be able to vote to make voter ID happen in November. That's going to be a huge reason I win, because it's going to get a big Republican turnout. That was achieved the old-fashioned way by volunteers collecting signatures, in particular an organization called Reform California, led by a friend of mine, Carl DeMaio, a great campaigner, collecting signatures from real people, a real membership organization. Same with another one to protect increases in property taxes. It's called Save Prop 13. That was put there through the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, which goes right back to the original taxpayer revolt in California in the mid 1970s. By the way, I was just endorsed by the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. So that those initiatives get there the right way. How do the Democrats do it? They pay scammers per signature. And that's what we saw in action. And it's supposed to be actual voters being paid. So the money is supposed to go to the businesses that stand on the streets finding people to sign signatures. What we actually saw, the money is going to the voters to pay for their signature on these ballot initiatives. That's not how it's supposed to be at all. It's literally buying votes. And on top of that, it's not just any old voters, it's homeless people who aren't registered to vote. So at the same time as buying their signature for the ballot initiatives that the Democrats are pushing, they're also registering them to vote, often with fake addresses. The whole thing is just a complete joke. And it's exposing the thing we've all been saying for years, which is how can you have any confidence in the voting system in a state where they endlessly change the rules and rig the system to favor themselves politically? That's what's just being exposed.
Governor Steve Hilton,
I like it.
When you get into office, what will you do first thing in order to shut down some of these obvious fraudulencies that we've seen captured live on camera?
Number one is stop the money flow. And we can do that because what I'm doing differently this time in the race for governor than any candidate, Republican or Democrat, is putting together a team. Just like President Trump, it was so powerful, wasn't it, in 2024, that team of rebels he put together, the Bobby Kennedys and so on, and Tulsi and all of that and Elon. So that's what we're doing. And there's a position called the state controller, which is an elected position here in California that's usually filled with Democrat hacks that see it as a stepping stone for the next thing. They're put there by the unions. Not this time. We've got a guy called Herb Morgan, you met him, who is a serious financial guy, was Howard Lutnick's business partner, sold his business to Cantor Fitzgerald. And the state controller has the power not only to audit every organization receiving state money, but to stop the flow of money if we think it's suspicious. That's number one. Secondly, my running mate for Attorney General, Michael Gates. We are going to prosecute. We're going to prosecute this and see what we can do to get the money back, to reclaim the money that was stolen from the taxpayers. And then the third step is to totally clean up the voting system, to investigate the voter rolls, to make sure that we have citizen checks on the voter rolls and clean up this totally rotten, corrupt system.
Will you commit live right now, Steve, to inviting back to California Doge Elon Musk if he wishes to be part of the cleanup of California?
Oh, 100%. I mean, this is all hands on deck. I mean, obviously, It's Elon's idea, and I'm modeling Cal Doge on what he did. And a lot of people said to me, "Oh, don't use Doge," and no, it's not discredited. Everyone understands that we need it more in California, even than I would say in the federal government, because at least in the federal government, over the years, you had the first Trump administration with an influx of conservative common sense ideas. Okay, then you have Biden, you have a bit of back and forth. In California, it's been 16 years, left, one party rule, everything, all the statewide offices, the state legislature, all these bureaucracies infected. We're not just with leftism, but the worst in the country, because that's what California's been. So we need the Doge effort in California more than anywhere else. And of course, if we do that in California, we're not only saving California taxpayers' money, but massively saving American taxpayers' money, because a massive part of this fraud is federal money. When you're talking about Medicaid and all of that, which is a huge part of it, the hospices, you saw that with Dr. Oz the other week, that's all federal. So and there's a national interest in Cal Doge being as effective as possible.
So, Steve, what happens when you get what we got when you brought me to the Porta-John that had 26 registered people at it, and I was like, well, this is insane, and that went viral, and then we got fact-checked, and the fact check was no, yes, it has. Yeah, you put up the video, yeah. Yes, it has 26. Yes, you're right. There are 26 people registered to a toilet in the middle of an empty parking lot. But it's legal. And in fact, anyone can register anywhere. The Secretary of State actually gave the media a comment on this, Steve. And the Secretary of State's like, no, actually, people could register at a Burger King parking lot or a stop sign. They could register in the middle of a vineyard. They could register anywhere. That seems obscene. It seems like, of course, designed for fraudulent votes. And then here comes James O'Keefe right over the top, showing exactly how this operation works, right? Exactly. Then you just fraudulently register the voters, get their signatures, and pay them. So that's how this whole system works. So we had like both sides of the system together.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
That's why what James did.
How are you going to stop that? How are you going to stop this, Steve? Because they're like, well, it's legal, you know?
Well, we got to change the law. We got to change the law, including, if necessary, as you need to do often in California, with a ballot initiative that we will get there for real, because millions of Californians are sick of this. Yeah. They know that the whole system's been scammed. And so we have to clean it up completely. We've got to give people confidence in our elections. I mean, there was an estimate that in California, this was from my Attorney General running mate, Michael Gates, who, by the way, just before jumping into the race for Attorney General running with me on a ticket, was in the Justice Department, working with Pam Bondi, and Leo Terrell and Harmeet Dillon in the Civil Rights Division, leading on election integrity. So he really knows what he's talking about. In fact, he was the one behind one of the federal lawsuits against California on the voter rolls. So you've got a pincer movement. And so what you're seeing on a lot of issues right now in California, actually, is the Trump administration pushing common sense changes very aggressively, whether that's on opening up oil production or on this issue of voting or on forest management, a whole bunch of areas where you've got the Trump administration acting. You've got the leadership in California today, the Democrats, pushing back, filing lawsuits and all the rest. Imagine what we can do when we have a governor and a team in California that wants to work with the Trump administration to clean up California. That could be months away. I would take office in January. And so this is going to be a new day, not just for California, for our whole country.
I know this is putting the cart before the horse. I know that you have Rick Grinnell's texting me. He's really excited about the upcoming Republican gubernatorial debate. That's awesome. I look forward to it, at least watching it. Maybe I'll even be there. But if we could fast forward to the general, a lot of people would say, well, there's no way a Republican can win in California. And that is, it'll just be a bunch of Eric's, it'll just be a bunch of fraud, and you'll get Eric Swalwell, right? And so I guess what is your response to those doomers?
So a couple of things. First of all, even since the last governor race in California in 2022, the climate of opinion in California has shifted very negatively against the Democrats. When people ask that basic question, which determines if it's a change election where they kick out the incumbents, is the state or the country, whatever, going in the right direction, wrong direction, that's moved very negatively against the Democrats. Used to be about 50-50. Now it's like 65%, 67% I've seen. California's going in the wrong direction. So there is a majority for change. That's number one. Number two, in a midterm, as you know better than anyone, it's all about turnout, getting your votes out. Whoever does best, getting their votes out will win. Now, if we look at the numbers and you take the average of the midterm results in California 2018, 2022 to project the numbers for this year, the total number of votes we can expect, about 11.7 million, just as an estimate. So to win, I would need just over half of that, 5.9 million. That's the target number of votes that we will need to win. President Trump in California in 2024 got 6.1 million votes. In other words, the Republican votes are there in California. We just need to get them to show up in a governor's race. Voter ID on the ballot will really help with that. So will that other proposition I mentioned on saving Prop 13 and capping increases in property tax. So these ballot initiatives that are on the ballot in November will help Republican turnout, as will my candidacy. I'm running on a clear, strong, common sense, conservative platform. $3 gas, cut your electric bills in half, no more free healthcare for illegal immigrants, your first $100,000 tax-free, a home you can afford to buy, very practical things. So I just think that this year we've got, and the team that I've put together, we're putting a real credible government in waiting in front of Californians in a way they haven't seen before. And then finally, I'd say, Benny, our other secret weapon or weapons, the Democrat candidates. Look who they're putting up. I mean, if you think about the last 16 years, you've had a kind of inevitable Democrat governor. You've had Jerry Brown for all those years. Then you had Gavin Newsom for all those years. Look at you've got Swalwell. Are you kidding me? Katie Porter, Tom Steyer, the billionaire climate fanatic. These are their choices, and they're all terrible.
Your debate is going to be so good. It's going to be so good, Steve. I can't wait. Any of them versus you in a debate stage. I just can't wait.
It's going to be something.
I'm not sure it'll even. I'm not exactly sure it'll be fair. You versus Swalwell is the one I really want. But you versus Katie Porter, as long as you have a good bodyguard, right? As long as you have a good security team around you, you should be good. But you got to be careful about the flying pans with hot potatoes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Careful, bro.
I need my potato protector.
That's right.
Maybe like we go back to the COVID days and we have some kind of perspex screen between the candidates.
You got that beautiful bald head. She dumped the scalding potatoes on it. Exactly. Oh man, yeah, she did that. That's in the federal filing. Yeah, I mean, she straight up did that. Her husband got a payout for that. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Everybody go support Steve Hilton. Check this out. I mean, what a great story. We're gonna turn things around. Oil's flowing through California for the first time in generations. Steve is primed and set and ready to go. We're very, very excited about the prospects in the state. He's got hundreds of thousands of followers, 400,000 in fact, here on X. Go ahead and give him a follow, a subscribe, and his campaign website there. Steve, Godspeed, man. It's going to be awesome.
So fun. Great to see you, Benny. We're going to do awesome. It's going to be an amazing year.
Yes, I'm very, very positive about it. Please text me that 20% poll if you get it.
I will. Yeah.
Yeah, if that comes over the top. Thank you, man. Godspeed, Steve.
See you soon. Thanks, John.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve talking a lot about how the economy can, obviously, you can fix people's lives, you can fix the economy, you can win with American Financing. They're a longtime partner of the show. We talk about them a lot. Usury rates on credit card debt is a killer. Make sure that you are out from those 20 and 30% usury rates for private credit card debt. Instead, go to American Financing. Give them a call right now, and they can reconsolidate your debt in the low fives, where it should be, sort of at the Fed funds rate. That's what should be legal, anyway. The point is that Donald Trump agrees. This is exactly how you open up your American future. That's why I talked about it at the State of the Union. So, call America's Home, for home loans at 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219, AmericanFinancing.net/Benny to help, ladies and gentlemen, with your credit card debt. This is my favorite story of the week, and I don't know if we're going to do it or not. I asked my wife, can I go to Cuba? And she said, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. So, I checked the flights this morning. I'm so sick of this. So they got a bunch of libtards in Havana. You can't beat it. They're staying at the only 5-star hotel in all of Cuba. It's the only hotel, it's the only building in all of Cuba that has power. You can see here. It's the only building that that's not like in total blackout. So they're literally sipping lattes. They're complaining that they don't have enough internet to live stream. And they're supposedly there to save the communist regime. And of course, they're blaming America for everything. So there's their hotel. You can see like on this completely darkened street, the street is complete blackout. You got one hotel. It's where all the libs are staying. And they're like bragging about how fun it is there with the rolling blackouts. Here's Hassan Piker, who leaves his dog at home if there's no electricity to electrocute it, complaining about the rolling blackouts.
It's incredible. It's truly one of my favorite places officially. I
Actually,
totally understand why Will was saying that about Cuba. It's remarkable. The people's resilience is remarkable. There's like rolling blackouts that take place throughout the day, every day, all around the country, right? 11 million people. But today is a beautiful day out here. It's like 75 degrees, sunny. People are partying. People are partying in the fucking streets.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it's like an island mindset. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I'm sure that has something to do with it, but like, they're just chilling. Like,
they're just chilling. They don't have any jobs. They don't have any electricity. We're sitting there treating them like zoo animals. It's like a safari for pink-haired white people, filming the brown people who have no food, no gas, no future, no jobs in their crumbling nation. It's been completely and totally raped by communism. But yeah, we're sitting there, I'm sitting there with my steak tartare and my caviar and my little latte, complaining about my internet, saying that people are partying. People are just partying in the street. Look at this hotel. This is where Hassan Piker's staying. The average Cuban lives on $156 a year. They wouldn't be able to afford Hassan Piker's glasses that he's wearing in that clip. Hassan Piker's glasses in that clip is a $1,400 pair of Cartier glasses. These are the glasses he's wearing. So what a complete clown car this operation is. What a total and complete clown car. So this is what they're doing, and it makes me like they're lying, and it makes me angry, and I hate it when I see this kind of propaganda, and it makes me feel like I get like an itch, and I want to like go. I could go on a flight and expose these people, and show what's really happening in Cuba. So I'm gonna do that. We're gonna do that one of like as long as it's safe. Like we're gonna do that one of these days. Might be this week. We have to travel to CPAC this week, so I don't know if it's gonna be this week, but we're gonna go do that. I'm going to counter program here. We're going to counter program at the airport with TSA, ladies and gentlemen. We want our golden future. We want our golden era. We're going to have to get back to obviously focusing on domestic issues. And if you have sort of the markets going as haywire as they are right now, maybe it's time to invest in gold just a little bit. Diversify a bit into physical precious metals with my friends at Advantage Gold. You can text Advantage Gold today, texting Benny to 85545 for something that's solid, something that just performs in your portfolio, something that's, of course, lives by the scarcity principles that all economics lives by, and that is a rock solid precious metals company, the number one rated, in fact. Text Benny to 85545, BENNY to 85545, and you'll instantly get a free gold investment kit. Don't wait while the gold rally keeps breaking records. Text Benny to 85545. Okay, so we're heading to the airport. It's perilous out there. We've shown you what the lines look like. Breaking news a lot of people are talking about this morning. 2 pilots dead, 41 people hospitalized after a Canadian plane hits a fire truck when landing at LaGuardia, causing airport closure. I haven't actually read up on the story, so don't know who's at fault here. Killing 2 pilots and hospitalized 40 others after a horrific crash obliterated the front of a jet, major travel hub. The Bombardier CRJ 900 jet landing from Montreal, with 72 passengers, was landing shortly before midnight. It smashed onto a truck responding to an unrelated emergency. Audio caught an air traffic controller frantically trying to stop the deadly smash, repeatedly crying out, "Stop, stop, 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 stop." He was heard later, I assume they're talking about the air traffic controller, saying, "I messed up." Yikes. Horrific images showed the front of the commuter plane obliterated and tilted up in the air with debris and cables hanging off the mangled cockpit after a 24-mile-per-hour smash. The pilot and co-pilot of the mangled were both killed. It's like crazy. Scary. Many of the 72 passengers and 4 crew members on the jet were also injured, of course. See, the entire nose of the jet was ripped off. So it smashes into a fire truck when it was landing. It's like, why is the fire truck sitting on the runway? It's pretty late at night, too. You just have to assume that the government shutdown, the TSA funding freeze, that all of this has something to do with it. Yeah, it just ain't good. So Democrats need to be blamed for this. We need to, engage in political pressure and pain here, and get back to sanity in our nation. You shouldn't be able to defund critical infrastructure. Speaking of critical infrastructure, White House has installed a Christopher Columbus statue, the same statue that was toppled by BLM in the riots in Baltimore. They took that statue. Remember, they went and they hunted it down because, literally because white people are evil. Christopher Columbus, one of the straight up all-time most impressive people to ever walk the face of the earth. He is a hero. He's a hero of Christendom and Western civilization. He is greater than he's one of the greatest men to ever live. A bunch of libtards and orcs toppled his statue again because they're just racist and they hate white people, and they hate accomplishments of white people. They hate Christians. And the White House got back at him by putting this up right out front of the executive office building. ALX knows this staircase well. I know the staircase well. Is where you go to all your meetings. So everybody who's going to a meeting at the White House effectively has to walk by Christopher Columbus and put up mad respects for one of the greatest humans to ever live. It was installed as part of the White House's celebration of America's 250th anniversary. Alpha move there, ladies and gentlemen. Alpha. U.S.-Cuba economic deal done by when? Let's look. Somebody always knows, man. I was checking the markets this weekend. There's dudes that were betting on a ceasefire. That a ceasefire was going to happen by the end of March in Iran. And boom, boom. It practically happened this morning. And that's true, by the way, no matter what the Iranians say. It's happening. U.S.-Cuba economic deal by June 30th. Will Cuba pull a Venezuela, right? Kick out their corrupt-ass leader, change their ways, open up their economy, become a vassal state of America. It's awesome. Go for it. It's great. As part of any deal, you should have to deny. As part of any deal, they should have to deny Hassan Piker's return trip to America. Force Hassan Piker to live like an actual Cuban communist for a couple months. That should be. If I was negotiating this, that would be part of any trip. That Hassan Piker has to stay there and live as a communist. Force him to live out his actual beliefs. This is how you break people. But anyway, it looks like the odds are up, man. It's gonna happen by June, potentially April. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll also see our verse of the day. Very important day for all of us. I want peace. Peace is Christian. You should want peace. President Trump, we hear rumors that President Trump is negotiating effectively the end of the Ukraine war with the end of the Iran war. And that he's been talking with Vladimir Putin every single day. That's what we hear. So could they both happen at the same time? Boy, man, you get approval rating jump of 20% If you did that, he'd be the most popular president in probably in history, if you could pull that one off. Apparently, that's what's going on behind the scenes. I guess we'll see. Here we go. 2 Corinthians 9:6. Whoever sows sparingly will reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. We're going to go and engage in some generosity at the airport, get some TSA agents, some free lunch. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for watching. Carry on with us. Off to victory that is assured for us in Christ our Lord. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
I'm getting out of here before any more missiles fall on my head.
Show where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.